All right, welcome back to World Cup 2026 Extra Time. We are done with the group stages, and I am done with the picturesque Maryland background. We're back at home here. We are on Instagram, WCE Time, and then World Cup 2026 Extra Time on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, group stages are done, and as we've done with all of our group reviews, we'll go in alphabetical order, which is last to first for some reason. So Argentina and Jordan was a meaningless game, but it finished up the group stage. Argentina already set to be in the round of 32. They already knew their opponent. It was Cape Verde, but they come and win again, 3-1. Lionel Messi does come in the second half and scores in the 80th minute. That's the first World Cup player to ever score in 7 consecutive World Cup games. It's never happened before. Did it the last four in Qatar and the first three here. So Messi is now two up for this year's Golden Boot, and we'll see what happens in the knockout rounds again as they start Friday versus Cape Verde. The story of the tournament, we'll preview that later on today, along with the other 15 matches that will begin on Monday. But the bigger story is Algeria and Austria. This was fun. A game where a lot of people were not expecting a lot because the winner of this game got Spain, and if they tied, both were in. Ironically enough, there was this an infamous game called the Disgrace of Guyane back in 1982 when the World Cup was in Spain, where West Germany and Austria basically played as simple as they possibly could. 1-0 win for West Germany. Algeria was eliminated, so Algeria and Austria were in a matchup where it was lose-lose pretty much, but they played a heck of a game. They were basically scoring left and right in this game. Marco and a Tuvik scoring in the 28th minute. Rafik Bengali scoring in the 45th minute. Then we're at halftime. Then they score within 5 minutes apart in the second half. Riyad Martinez scoring in the 60th minute after Marcel Sabitzer scores in the 55th minute. And then you're thinking, logically, you did enough. Let's just bounce back and forth. But no, Riyad Martinez scores in the 93rd minute, 90th plus three in stoppage time. And but pretty much right at the end, 3 minutes later, Sasa Kalajdzic scores in the 90th plus sixth, and we end up with the result that we thought we were going to see, but it wasn't without a lot of fun. So 3-3, Algeria and Austria tie. That eliminated Iran from the World Cup. So Cape Verde ties three. They get second place. Iran ties three after the controversial offsides call on Friday gets overturned via VAR, and they are out of the World Cup. Austria will play Spain. Algeria will play Switzerland in the round of 32. And again, we'll try to do all of those matches later today. Colombia and Portugal uh, played a very good game in Group K. This was a 0-0 draw. Didn't change anything pretty much for what came in. Colombia did win this group. Ronaldo, even though I think he should have been out in some time in the second half, he wasn't. Davinson Sanchez also very, very close to winning this game 1-0 straight up and putting Portugal possibly in an unenviable situation of being, I think they would have been second regardless, but that gets overturned by a literal toe offsides via VAR again. Colombia won this battle in a lot of ways. Shots, possession, field tilts, and everything. But it ends up as a draw, but Colombia with 7 points advances as the winners of the group. They will play Ghana, the last match of the knockout of the round of 32 on Friday in KC. Portugal will face Croatia in Toronto on Thursday. Facing Croatia in a World Cup is never fun, and we'll talk about that in just a second. DR Congo ends up getting in. They end up what would eventually be a knockout of South Korea. in winning 3-1. Uzbekistan was leading this one for a while too. They scored in the 10th minute um, from a goal by Shomurodov, but they score on a penalty by Visa in the 68th minute. Mayele scores in the 78th minute. They had one more in stoppage time for good measure. And DR Congo becomes the ninth African nation to make it to the round of 32. Only one African nation that made it, I'm sorry, eighth out of ninth. But only one African nation did not make it to the round of 32. You can even compare it to South Africa. South America got five out of six. U.S. only got the three. The North America only got the three host countries. Europe lost two teams in qualification. Asia only really got two teams in it. It's Australia, who's barely a part of that system, and Japan, who's always around in that point. But DR Congo gets the job done. They deserve to win after kind of dominating this game, but finally getting through late. They will play England in the round of 32. Good luck, gentlemen. Uzbekistan is out. They do end up with no points, just like their brethren in Jordan ended up with no points. Kyrgyzstan did end up with 1 point with that draw against uh with that draw earlier in the World Cup. And Cape Verde doing it for the debutants. They'll be in the round of 32. Then we finally let's go to the group that was first up in the day, but last in your alphabet. That's Group L. England. They had chances early on against Panama in the first half, and after being frustrated with that 0-0 against Ghana, thought it wasn't going to look good, but Marcus Rashford looked good in the second half. Harry Kane started to get through, and then Jude Bellingham hits a corner 62 in the 62nd minute, and then Harry Kane 7 minutes later gives England the win. Harry Kane is now the leading goal scorer all time in England's World Cup history. Pele, you're next on the list in terms of being passed by Harry Kane. England is into the round of 32. Again, they'll play DR Congo on Thursday in Atlanta. Going to be a very interesting game considering the fact that DR Congo gave Portugal fits. I could see them giving England fits as well if England doesn't get off to a good start. However, Ghana is moving on to face Colombia because Croatia gets the job done and wins 2-1 yesterday. This was a good game. Uh, Sukic scoring on the 31st minute, Lukasen of Ghana scoring on the 73rd minute. A lot of close to the vest here. A draw was going to help out both teams a ton, but Croatia got all 3 points out of here, scoring in the 83rd minute with Vasek. Croatia, we thought they looked kind of dead in the water in that first game against England. Looked tired, looked old, but they get the job done. They didn't lead unexpected goals, only point 0.4 to point 0.7, which kind of shows weren't a lot of chances taken in this game. But Croatia, they looked very insane out there. They were filling up Toronto. They get the job done. They'll be filling up Toronto again because they'll be in Toronto for that game on Thursday against Portugal. Watch out, Portugal. Upset possibly happening, but Croatia doesn't do upsets. They just win in World Cup knockout games. They've won five in the last two World Cups. What's another one for good measure? All right, so we are done with the group stage. Done. Every game now needs a winner. So we start with the last 32 games starting today, and I'm going to talk about that game real quick because we'll preview the rest after we review this tonight. But South Africa and Canada kick off the world round of 32. I'll tell you how I thought they would do first because that'll kind of show you how I thought. South Africa, I did not think that they would get second place in the group, but after a at the death win in South Korea, not at the death, it was in the 80th minute when they scored. They end up getting themselves here for the first time, and they took advantage of an Asian team in winning. They got a big time draw against Czechia on that late penalty in the second half. Canada did pretty much the same thing. They took advantage of an Asian team in Qatar, who they destroyed 6-0, which pretty much locked them into this spot, but they unfortunately couldn't get the job done against Switzerland 2-1. It hurt them in two ways. It cost them 3 extra days of rest, and it cost them a game against Canada, and it cost them games in Canada. They will not be playing in Canada again. So they play in LA today. So what am I looking at here? It's going to be interesting. It's the first time since 2002 that two nations have are playing their knockout debuts. So we'll see how the pressure adds. Obviously, knockout's a little bit different. Once you get to 90 minutes, if you're at a draw, you play another 30 minutes of two 15-minute halves. It's not sudden death. And then you go to penalty shots. South Africa has only won once in their last 7 matches. They're not a big goal scoring team. That's going to be interesting to see today. And Canada, Jonathan David was a big winner in that second matchup where they just blitzed the hell out of Qatar. But Alphonso Davies, who Jesse Marsh, Ken, the manager, basically said, "Oh, he's available today." But even and said essentially for the two matches before where he was said to be available that he was a decoy for the opponent. But they said he's available today. Is he lying? Who knows? But I do expect Canada, who I did think would be second place in this group. I thought they would be playing Czechia, but they're right here now in this spot where I thought they would be. I thought Switzerland would win the group. I like Canada today. I like their chances. I like the fact that they're playing a team that has about the same nerves as they are going to in this stage. I see Canada moving on. I see a 1-0 win in regulation. Later tonight, we will review that match and we will do a preview of the 15 other matches that are left in the round of 32. We are on Instagram, WCE Extra Time, and we are on Facebook and YouTube at World Cup 2026 Extra Time. My name is Stephen Rabinowitz. I will talk to you later tonight.